Hey everyone, welcome to our channel where we share stories that have a deeper meaning. Their company was doing well. Things were going great. So they decided to throw a small celebratory party in the conference room, complete with pizza. But when the meeting was over and it was time to clean up, no one volunteered to clear the table. The workers were fighting for raises. Managers were fighting for promotions. The CEO was fighting to stay on top. No one even noticed that this man was missing. They never asked about him. Why? Well, partly because of his looks. He was darker-skinned, not as educated, and couldn't talk properly. His reflection in the shiny tiles became his only witness. He listened to executives make jokes about him right in front of his face. Some people just don't fit the corporate world, they whispered, sipping overpriced coffee. He said, "We will update the elevators, fix the leaky roof, and install security cameras in the lobby." Everyone in the building was happy about the changes. They couldn't wait for them to happen. But no one knew that it was the janitor who was behind the changes. He had secretly bought the building and was now in charge of making the decisions. He didn't tell anyone because he wanted to surprise them. He wanted to show them that they had judged him wrongly. He wanted to prove that he wasn't just a janitor, but a smart and capable leader. Sometimes they said it louder, like it was a fact. We should treat everyone with respect and kindness because we don't know what they're capable of. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our amazing stories. Thank you for listening, and until next time, keep dreaming big and never give up on your goals. This man may have looked like a simple janitor, but he was actually a brilliant businessman who used his intelligence and patience to achieve his goals. He didn't let other people's negativity bring him down. Instead, he proved them wrong and showed them that he was more than they thought he was. As if his skin and his uniform made him belong on the sidelines, not at the table, but he smiled. Not because he was okay with it, but because he was patient. Inside, he was building something they couldn't see. While they laughed, he was saving every dollar. While they mocked, he read financial reports after midnight. While they planned vacations, he planned his own future silently, but mostly because of his clothes. When you're black, poor, and wearing overalls, the world decides for you. One day, as he was emptying a trash bin in the lobby of the same building where he worked, "How much do you want for it?" On the other end of the line, Mr. Jones, a rich businessman who owned many properties. Most of the people who called were poor residents who wanted to buy the building and turn it into low-income housing. He had already turned down dozens of these calls. But this one was different. This man didn't ask for time to think about it. He didn't argue about the price. He didn't make excuses. He just asked a question and waited for an answer. Mr. Jones was curious. He liked the sound of this man. So he told him, "Well, I was thinking about $2 million. "Good," the man said. "That sounds fair." Can I have your bank details? I'll transfer the money tomorrow. Mr. Jones was stunned. He didn't expect such a quick deal. He tried to ask more questions, but the man hung up before he could. Mr. Jones thought it was strange. But when he checked his account the next morning, he saw that the money had arrived. It was exactly what he was asking for. It read, "Building for sale." People passing by would stop and look at the sign. Some would shake their heads and walk away. Others would point it out to their friends and laugh. But he didn't. He stood still, staring at the words. Then, without anyone noticing, he took out his phone and dialed a number. They don't see your mind. They don't ask about your past. They just see the uniform and ignore the man inside it. To them, he was invisible, a shadow in the corner, background noise. Instead, they all started talking at once about how dirty the room was. It needed to be cleaned up and fast. He wasn't cleaning floors because he had no other choice. A degree he earned with sleepless nights, balancing 2 jobs, and studying under streetlights when the power went out in his neighborhood. He graduated with honors, applied for dozens of corporate jobs, wore the same suit for every interview because it was the only one he had. But every time he walked into an office, he saw it in their eyes, not him. They'd smile politely, pretend to take his resume seriously, and then they'd hire someone who looked like them. Someone with the right fit. So what did he do? He took the job no one else wanted, the one they thought was made for people like him. He cleaned their offices by day polishing floors, wiping desks, listening to whispered jokes. As if he wasn't standing there. While they went home to their families, he went home to his small apartment, opened his laptop, and studied finance. Not because he needed a grade anymore, but because he was preparing for something bigger. Something no one saw coming. He was cleaning floors because the corporate world would unlet him do anything else. Back when he was younger, he had big dreams. He wanted to be successful, respected, and live a comfortable life. He also wanted to help his family and community. He had plans and goals. He just needed a chance. But opportunities don't just fall from the sky. You have to reach up and grab them. And he was reaching for his dreams. Today, we'll be reading a story about a hardworking janitor. Let's dive in. This man was dressed like a janitor. He wore an old green shirt and black pants. He had a worn-out mop in one hand and a bucket full of soapy water in the other. All of the people in the room looked up at him and then quickly lowered their heads again. It was their secret shame, their little game. It was fun to watch him shuffle around, clear the table, and make the room perfect again. They'd often do this just to see him rush around nervously and try to please them. But the man didn't seem to mind. He just kept cleaning, smiling politely as if he liked his job. In the heart of the city, high above the bustling streets in a skyscraper, a bunch of important-looking people were having a meeting. as if they had arranged it beforehand. In reality, he hated it. He felt angry and sad. He was intelligent, a hard worker, and had many good ideas about how to help their company make even more money. But no one ever asked for his opinion. In fact, no one ever asked for his name. To them, he was just the janitor, the guy who swept the hallways at night, the man who picked up their coffee cups from the conference room table after meetings, the one who scrubbed footprints off the marble floors while they walked past him like he did on Exist. They called him boss sarcastically sometimes, laughing as he emptied their trash bins. But no one ever stopped to wonder, who is he really? What are his dreams? What's his story? The truth was that no one cared about him. They were too busy fighting each other for more money and power. But what they didn't know? What they didn't know was simple. He had an MBA, a Master of Business Administration. For 5 long years, he mopped the same cold floors, day after day. They thought he was stuck. They thought he was invisible. But what they didn't realize? He was watching, learning, waiting. When the call was answered, he said calmly. After the building was sold, the new owner announced big changes. This story teaches us that we should never judge someone by their appearance or their job. And that's all for the day.